What does resistance look like in 2024? Well, as a member of 2016 Resistance Twitter, I can tell you two things. One, being part of a resistance movement that mostly just involves tweeting mean things at Eric Trump kind of lessens the meaning of the word. And two, the results of the current election are proof that my 40,000 tweets did about as much good as Eric's periodontist. Last week, I tapped out of the discourse. Mostly this was a move of petulance. Why put out tweets and videos that have literally zero impact on how anyone thinks? And not just me either. Some of the best essayists in the world explained why Trump was a bad idea, and the only people who read them were people like me who did not need convincing. As I've thought on this admittedly not very demure, not very mindful decision, it occurs to me that maybe I have stumbled onto a winning strategy. Let me explain. MAGA is a reactionary political group. They don't have ideas of their own so much as they have a disdain for the ideas of liberals. Every aspect of MAGA, since Donald Trump descended down the escalator the same way Eric Trump's gonads never did, has been a pushback on some liberal idea. MAGA exists as a shadow to the light that liberalism throws off. And, like Stephen Miller, it thrives in those shadows, using the resentment of liberal policies like treating women like humans to recruit angry young men into their tent. So I wonder, as we now hunker down for the cold nuclear winter of at least 2 years of total MAGA control of our government, whether our old form of resistance, that is, using the strongest language we can to point out the inhumanity of their actions, might actually be the most effective recruitment tool that MAGA has to perpetuate itself beyond 2026. So hear me out. What if we went radio silent? What if we acknowledge that we disagree with their policies and then went about our lives, focusing our political energy not on anger, but on recruiting new voters of our own? What if we starved them of their ability to laugh at our outrage by, and hear me out, not having any? I'm not saying we don't use every tool that we have politically to push back against the march ever rightward. What I mean is that in the age of social media, what if we deprive MAGA of the oxygen it relies on? Rage. What if we just assume that he's going to say or do a number of terrible things, that we need to oppose it through political and legal means, and then just not comment on it? Just treat MAGA the same way Donald treats Eric, as an inconvenience we wish didn't exist, but that we're forced to put up with anyway. Is it possible that quiet might be the one weapon that they don't have a solution for? Can they push back against us if we just weren't around anymore? I want to hear from you. This last election has proven that the old way of doing things is not effective anymore, and we need new ideas. This is one of them, but it might be a dumb one. I've been under a lot of mental stress lately, so my ideas might be terrible. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments, and what's your idea for how we can effectively resist for the next 4 years? I'd love to know.